Good evening, everyone. Who's with us? Oh, it's so nice to see the people. Very nice. I see Sean with us. I see Frank with us. Ronald with us. Beautiful. Lionel Pogo with us. Beautiful, beautiful. Who else with us? Who else with us tonight? Who's else with us tonight? Ivor with us. Oh, Dr. Les with us.
Rab, how are you? How are you, Rab?
How are you, Dr. Les? Give us the good news.
Good.
Give us news.
Wow. Okay. So there is amazing news. You know what's going on in the country. So today I had friends who I had met in London. Who actually took me to. They saved his family. They saved after the war a Holocaust survivor, a young boy. Came to their home, and for 11 years they looked after him. What amazing people. And they never got any money for it. They just did it from the goodness of their heart. And I went to see him, Herman, most amazing. It was in a part of London that there's no more Yidden, but today he's reconnected with his Jewish roots. Anyway, so the person that took me, Jack Leaf, he came to Israel together with two friends. And he asked if I could take them in Yerushalayim. Both those friends hadn't been here before. And we went to the old city. We walked down the Arab market. It was actually quite unbelievable. And going to the Kotel was actually quite incredible. So, you know, what you hear what's on the TV and everything, people are scared. It was full. It was very Levitic. You could feel the simcha. You could feel that it's really a chag. In Israel, it's amazing. You don't have to even be from. You don't have to be. But just the atmosphere, you feel that it's a chag and things are very different. So we should all have a moedim l'simcha. It's a very special time, and such a zchut to be here in Yerushalayim and feeling the atmosphere of the chag. It's really special.
Baruch Hashem. I'm very happy, first of all, to hear the good news that you're telling me that it was safe to walk again in the old city.
Yeah, people were walking, families, yeah.
And to feel the atmosphere of Chol HaMoed, and Be'ezrat Hashem, soon we're going to see Biat Mashiach Tzidkenu, the coming of our Mashiach speedily in our days. Amen. Thank you, Dr. Les. Thanks for the good news. Baruch Hashem. Okay, Rabotai, as we mentioned in a message that we're going to speak tonight about Shvei Shel Pesach. We're going to speak about Shvei Shel Pesach. We'll explain what's happened. What is Shvei Shel Pesach? We're going to look at the miracle that happened on the 7th days of Pesach. We'll explain everything, and we'll also, Be'ezrat Hashem, try to explain what can we learn from all of it. What is the message to us? Be'ezrat Hashem, that's what we're going to speak tonight. I'm going to mute everyone, okay? And then we'll start the show. So Be'ezrat Hashem, na'aseh v'natzliach, ve'Hashem alenu berachamav yarviach. I would like to dedicate the shiur in the soul of Esther Kaden Bat Ketzia, Mordechai Ben Rahma, Arav Avraham Haim Ben Eliezer Yaakov, Tamar Bat Zehava, Yaakov Salomon Ben Farha, Dvorah Ruth Bat Beila, Shosha Blima Bat Mordechai Betzalel, Miriam Bat Moshe, Malka Regina Bat Joya, Keti Gurgia Bat Farha. Nishmatam tiyeh tzrura b'tzur ha'im. And also, I would like to dedicate this to those special two sisters that lo alenu been murdered by our cousin.
The mother also passed.
And their mother, thank you, Stephen, that to dedicate the show, and they saw not that they need Mashal because they're going straight to heaven. Hazal tell us that Jewish people that get killed because it's Jewish, by people that hate us, they go straight to heaven. So they should stand up in the front of the Almighty and daven to each Jewish people to have his own personal redemption, Be'ezrat Hashem. Also, I would like also to dedicate the shiur in health of Menashe Naji ben Farha, Liora bat Miriam, Arav Moshe ben Bahia Batya, Arav Moshe ben Devora, Arav Avraham ben Marina, Arav Shlomo Yehuda ben Dalia, Dvorah Ruth בת ביילה, דבורה בת אסתר, אורנה בלומה בת מרים, שיינה קיילה בת חנה, מרדכי דוד בן לאה, חיים נחום בן צבי הכהן, שמואל בן מיכל, ברוך בן שרה, צבי בן חווה, שמואל מאיר בן שושה בלימה, מרים בת זלדה ליבה, משה אברהם בן חנה ריבה, חיה ציפורה בת רחל, איילה עדן בת רבקה, טובה ליבה בת רחל, ויהודית בת ריקה. Please God that the show gonna be in health of them and health of all the rest of the people that need health in the Jewish people. Just before we start the show, our friend Anthony asked me a question last night that bothered me a lot after that. And Baruch Hashem, today I found an answer. I spoke to it at Minha at Yeshiva College, but I would like also to share it with you. Anthony asked, how come that during Hol HaMoed of Pesach, we don't say a full Tahanun, a full Hallel? And we explained yesterday, it's El Maaseh Yadai Tova'im Bayam, V'atem Omrim Shira. What does it mean that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the angel, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu drowned the Egyptian in a sea of reeds, you can't say Shira to me. That's one of the ideas. I saw a beautiful interpretation that actually Hazal asked that question in the Gemara in Masechet Arachim in page 10, folio 1 and 2, towards the end of folio 1, and then it's turned to folio 2. How come that we don't say full Hallel in Hol HaMoed Pesach? And Hazal explained that it's very simple. In Sukkot, because Sukkot every day is an individual festival, and every day they used to bring a different sacrifice. So you have to say every day Hallel for those korbanot. But in Hol HaMoed, it's all the same korbanot, number one. The difference is that all the festival, they used to bring korbanot, and they all used to be the same. Not only that, that in Hol HaMoed Pesach, the korbanot was less. Every day in Hol HaMoed used to bring less korbanot. Therefore, that's why Hazal say in the Gemara Masechet Arachim, page 10, folio 1 and 2, 1 towards the end, 2 lines from the end, and then it's turned to folio 2. Why we don't say Hallel in Hol HaMoed Pesach, while in Hol HaMoed Sukkot we say Hallel? Okay, that's something that I wanted to share with you that we spoke last night, but now we're going to speak about something completely different that I advertised. It's Shvei Shel Pesach. What is Shvei Shel Pesach? We all heard about Shvei Shel Pesach, the 7th day of Pesach. I'm going to start with the history for you to understand, and then we'll develop, and then we'll go also through the miracle. In the year 2448 from the creation, on the 25th of Nisan at night, that's when the miracle of the 7th night, okay, Shvei Shel Pesach, occurred. What happened there? After the Jewish people left Egypt, okay, and that was on the 15th of Nisan in the year 2448 from the creation, the children of Israel, we know, gone to the wilderness. Pharaoh sends spy to see is the Jewish people intending to turning back and coming back to Egypt. When the spy came back, Hazal asked there who was the spy. Hazal said that the 2 spies was a matter of fact from Bnei Israel, and there was Datan and Aviram. Datan and Aviram. What happened there? Something very interesting happened. Datan and Aviram saw that Bnei Israel not interested returning back to Egypt. So after 3 days, on the 4th day, they immediately ran to where? To Egypt. And they tell Pharaoh, listen, the Jewish nation not coming back, forget about it. Pharaoh decided that he have to take them back. What is he done? Pharaoh took with himself, he make a cabinet meeting, and they decide, him and his cabinet, that they're going to return back the Jewish nation back to Egypt. He took what they call the croup of the croup of the chariot, that was all mercenaries. It's well known if you read about the history about the chariot of Egypt. It's well known. They all was mercenaries. They all was special forces, what we call them. And they're well known for the cruelty, but more than that, there was mercenary that got paid to kill. And he took them with him and he chased the Jewish people. Chazal say that he caught to Bnei Israel on a sea of reeds. And all of that night, Rabotai, all of that night, okay, that the 20, like tomorrow night, what's happened there? Happened a great miracle, Rabotai. That when the Egyptian arrived, on the front of Jewish people was the Sea of Reeds. We'll explain now what's happened there. Behind them was the Egyptian. We explained that the plague of Hoshech. Sorry, let me just mute everyone. There's a bit of talking. Okay, everyone muted. Okay, that in the front of them was the Sea of Reeds, behind them the Egyptian. In plague of Hoshech, they have only 6 days. Akadosh Baruch Hu kept the 7th day for the 7 nights. Shve'i shel Pesach, for the 7th day of Pesach. What happened there? Bnei Israel saw the Sea of Reeds. Every wave, Hazal say me'ama. Me'ama, it's 50 meters high, every wave. They were scared to jump to the sea. That's in the front of them. Behind them, there is the Egyptian army shooting bows and arrows and throwing stone, and the Jewish people. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu make miracle that the cloud absorb it and nothing happened to the Jewish people. Just before sunrise, on the 21st of Nisan, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, tell the Jewish people to enter the Sea of Reeds. We explained that every wave was 50 meters high. The children of Israel was afraid. Came Nahshon ben Aminadab. Nahshon ben Aminadab was the head of the tribe of Yehuda. He was the first one to jump to the sea. After him, the entire tribe of Yehuda jumped. Then the children of Israel saw that, they follow them and they jump. And then the miracle starts. We're going to speak about the miracle just now. What's happened there? The Egyptians seeing the Jewish people entering the Sea of Reeds. The sea split to 12 lanes. Every tribe walk on his own lane. And the main reason that every tribe have to walk on a main lane, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give him the feeling of unity. Because in that time, every tribe was united with his own people. What's happened? HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea for 12 lanes, and every tribe walked on a lane. The Egyptians saw that, and here come the command of Pharaoh, after me, follow me. The entire chariot, the entire army, the Egyptian army entering the sea, while the last person from Bnei Israel got out of the Sea of Reeds. HaKadosh Baruch Hu closed the sea on the Egyptian, and the Egyptian drowned. Each one, according to his evilness, that's how he drowned. Those that was very wicked, HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished them to be drowned like a straw, up and down, to have the sick of the sea, what do we call it, seasick, they all felt it until they drowned. Those that wasn't so sick, immediately they drowned right down to the sea. Rabotai, the Egyptian didn't even finish to feel the plagues. They still picking up the pieces from the 10 plagues that they received. The last plague was the plague of the firstborn. Everything is still fresh. What made the Egyptian, first of all, we have to understand, to follow the Jewish people, to try to bring them back. That's one of the ideas that we have to learn from the 7 days of Pesach. So on the pshat of the Dvarim, Chazal tell us something very interesting in a Gemara Masechet Eruvim in page 19, folio 1. Chazal tell us, Rasha'im, Rasha'im it means wicked, אפילו על פתחו של גיהנם, אינם עושים תשובה. That means wicked people, that when they know that they're going to Gehenna, they're in a gate of Gehenna, they will never do tshuva. They know that they're wrong, they're going to be punished, they're not going to do tshuva. They're not going to do atonement. That's what Chazal tell us regarding Pharaoh and his nation in Egypt. Beseder, Rabotai, that's one of the ideas. But I think that the Torah come to send us another message. I think that the Torah come to tell us here a fundamental idea that each one of us have to take it and understand it. Pharaoh realized that when the sea of weeds split and they saw the miracle and they're following the Jewish people, he realized that that's going to be the end. HaKadosh Baruch Hu with Bnei Israel, he split the sea to them, to 12 lanes. The arrogancy and the proud that he had couldn't let him say a mistake. Sorry, I done wrong. Sorry, it was a mistake. Instead, what? He continued like a wicked person, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished him. Rabotai, there is a message here to each one of us. We all human beings. Each one of us done wrong. We're not angels. Every one of us do something wrong. The most important thing, Rabotai, to learn from our mistake, to pick up our pieces, to say, I'm sorry, and to try again. And I think that the message of Shvei Shel Pesach, the 7th day of Pesach, is to teach us something very important. No one love to make mistake. No one want to make a mistake. We're all human beings, and we all make mistake. But we have to learn that the proud and arrogancy is the key for destruction for every human being. And that's what's happened with Pharaoh and his army, that they didn't want to admit that they was wrong. And that was the major problem for them. Now, I would like to move on and to speak about the miracle, and later on we'll develop it a bit more. Chazal in Mishnah Masechet Avot, in chapter 5, verse 4, Chazal tell us, 10 nisim ne'esu liYisrael bayam. 10 miracles HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to the Jewish people in the Sea of Reeds, when he split the Sea of Reeds. The great eagle is the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon. Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, born in the city of Cordova, 888 years ago in Spain. And in his commentary on the Mishnayot, on the Mishnah, beside the Rambam wrote commentary on the Torah, he wrote also commentary on the Mishnayot, beside all the Mishneh Torah that he wrote and all of that. He explained there the 10 miracles, according to the Rambam, remember, what's happened step by step, the 10 miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to the Jewish people during the splitting of the sea. And the Rambam says something extraordinary. The Rambam said that the first miracle, as we all know, it was the splitting of the sea. Where do we learn that? We learn that from the verse where he said there, "Vayibakke'u hamayim," and the water got split. Okay? Remember, it still doesn't say about the 12 lane. We'll get to the 12 lane later on. The Rambam said the second miracle that happened to the Jewish people, it was that when the water split, the water turned to a wall from the right and from the left, okay? Not only that, it was like a roof from water with no drops, no water leaks, okay? It was completely waterproof. What does it mean? Hazal say, where do you learn that? Said the Rambam, I tell you, from that it said, "V'hamayim lahem huma miminam umismolam." That means the water turned like a wall from the right and from the left and on top of them. The third miracle that happened, that when the Jewish people walk on the ground of the sea was dry. And Hazal tell us that it's Bnei Israel olchim bayabasha betoch hayam. That means that the miracle that happened, although that the sea is split, the water is still, the ground is still damp. There is still water on the ground. No. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes sure that the Jewish people, when they walk in a sea, it's going to be dry, so it's going to be easier for them to walk. The fourth miracle that happened, that when the Egyptian entered to the sea, what happened? The ground was muddy. It was difficult for them to chase the Jewish people. They actually split. The wheel was splitting because the ground was wet. So while the Jewish people walk, it was dry. While the Egyptian walk, for them, it was wet. Hazal explained. That's the Rambam. Okay? The fifth miracle that happened, Rabotai, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu drowned the Egyptian, okay, what happened? The entire water froze. Where do we see it? And it drowned them, that they all drowned like stone. Yardu b'mchelot kemo even. That means that they drop down to the bottom of the sea, like you throw stone into the sea, go straight down. Kadosh Baruch Hu didn't allow them. We'll see other miracles that happen after the splitting of the sea. The sixth miracle that said the Rambam that happened, that we say that the walls that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created from the right and from the left, the walls that he created from water, he makes sure that those walls are, number one, see-through. Why? What difference does it make? That the Jewish people, when they cross the Sea of Reeds, they felt comfortable and secure to see they fall of rain on the right and on the left. They didn't feel like they're alone in the sea. And though that it was a miracle, HaKadosh Baruch Hu given them the feeling that when they crossed the sea, they together. It was completely visible that everyone can see each other. The seventh miracle that happened, that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea, he split it to 12 lanes, that every tribe can go. And where do we learn that? From the word, Ze Eli Be'anvehu. Hazal say, why does it say Ze? Hazal say, take the gematria of Ze. Ze is Zayin. Hey is 5. Zayin and Hey, that means 7 and 5 together is 12. Hazal say from the word Ze, you learn that HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea to 12 lanes. That every lane, every tribe gone in his own lane. Not only that, David HaMelech in Sefer Tehillim says something extraordinary. David HaMelech in chapter 133 and verse 13 say, Lagozer Yamsuf Ligzarim. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu split the sea to different lanes. Ligzarim. Hazal say, what it means Ligzarim? To 12 lanes. That's what David HaMelech hinting to us in Sefer Tehillim. The eighth miracle happened that when the Jewish people crossed the sea, we say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned those walls like frozen water. There wasn't liquid that can fall. It was solid. What's happened? A miracle happened. That when they saw each other, they felt very comfortable, but was something else. Kadosh Baruch Hu made the wall so frozen that they can see each other, and he made each one from a small cube that look beautiful. Beside the feeling that they one can see each other, it was the illusion of the wall looking beautiful. Said the Rambam, you know where we learned that? Kafu te'omot beleviyam. That means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu frozen the water beleviyam, in the middle of the sea. The 9 miracles that happened, that those water of the Sea of Reeds, those of you that been in the Sea of Reeds, can tell you how salty those water. The same like an ocean. You can't drink it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu make a miracle. He made the wall, we say frozen, like solid wall. But it was children there. It was kids. It was adult, people thirsty. HaKadosh Baruch Hu make a miracle that when a person felt like drinking something, he took the cup, pushed it to that frozen wall, and it was like an aquazania. You know those machine of the aquazania, you put it under, you press the button, it's leaking water. Those water turn to sweet water, that if they was thirsty, they can drink it. By the way, I just advertised aquazania. We need to send them a bill. What I'm trying to say, that the miracle was that those walls, the salty water walls, turn, number one, to soft walls that you can drink, and the water turn to sweet water, that it will be drinkable. Where do we learn that? Said the Rambam, I tell you, from the word that it said, Kemoned nozlim. Nozlim is like liquid. That means it was exactly like a ned. And what it means, ned? Like a cap of liquid water when they wanted it. The final miracle, the 10 miracles that happened, that we say that when they wanted to drink, okay, the wall turned to liquid water. Said the Rambam, you know what was the greater miracle after that? That those walls, that they put the cup into the wall, turned back and froze. That means that on one side, a person decides to drink, and the other side, exactly parallel to him, a person drink, the wall become liquid. It's not full. They finished to drink, they took the hand from the wall, the cap of the wall. What's happened? It's turned back and become frozen again. Those are the 10 miracles that happened to the Jewish people. But Rabotai, we have to understand what's happened on the 7th day of Pesach. Hazal tell us in the Zohar HaKadosh, in Parashat Truma. The Zohar HaKadosh in Parashat Truma, page 170, folio 2. The Zohar say that Lo Haya, it was not such a dangerous time to the Jewish people when they stood in the front of the bank of the Sea of Reeds. What's happened? When they stood there, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe Rabbeinu, split the sea. The sea didn't want to split. Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to the angel of the sea. Rabota, listen to that. The Zohar HaKadosh tell us in Tikunei HaZohar that it's called Ozah. The name of the angel of the sea is Ozah. In the Yalkut Shimoni, it's a midrash that's written by Rabbi Shimon Ashkenazi. He born in Frankfurt. Okay, he was awards. It's not exactly sure when he wrote the midrash, when he born. There's not a lot about his history, but from what I managed to source and to look in his history, Rabbi Shimon Ashkenazi was from the Rishonim, from the time of the Geonim, okay, Rishonim, Geonim. And he said that the name of the angel of the sea is Rahab. So there's two different, there's a mahloket between the Zohar and the Midrash, Yalkut Shimoni. What's the name of the angel of the sea? Chazal tell us in the Zohar that Moshe Rabbeinu commanded the sea to split. The sea said to Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm not going to split. On what base I'm going to split to allow you to go? He said, that's command from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He said, I'm not going to do that. He said, are you arguing with me? Moshe Rabbeinu said to the angel of the sea, he said, yes. And I'm older than you. I've been created before of you. Until HaKadosh Baruch Hu got involved. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the angel of sea, what is your problem? The angel of sea said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're going to drown the Egyptian. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sure, yes, true. He said, you're going to drown them because they're idol worshiper. True. He said, but those kids, the children of Israel, they're also idol worshippers. What's the difference? They're idol worshippers, and those are idol worshippers. So why you're not going to drown both of them? The angel of sea said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Din emet atadan. You always judge only true. He said to him, I judge the truth. But they're going to be my nation. And we'll see why HaKadosh Baruch Hu made that miracle. We'll see what miracle. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised the angel of sea that he's going to reward them 3 times more. Let the Jewish people cross the sea. The Zohar say that the angel of sea split the sea and the children of Israel passed. Many years later, HaKadosh Baruch Hu given what he promised to the angel of sea 3 times more, 9 million soldiers from the army of Sisera that been drowned in a river of the Kishon. He paid them back. That means the Jewish people was supposed to be around 3 million, children, kids, and everyone, because 600,000, it was the adult from the age of 20 to the age of 60, plus they have with them kids, they have with them women, they have with them elderly, they have with them youngsters, and Gam Erev Rav Ala Itam, the multi-nation. Kadosh Baruch Hu paid him 3 times. Hazal said. Okay, so we understand that. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the miracle for the Jewish people, and he split the sea to them, and the angel of the sea being paid for whatever he have to pay. We have to understand what happened after that. When the Egyptian drowned, Rabotai, we have to understand what's happening there. After the drown, the children of Israel came out from the sea. They stood on a bank of sea. What's the next thing that they done? They sing Shirat Hayam, the song of the sea. And that was a miraculous phenomenon, okay? Spiritual thing that happened. That all the Jewish people, all the 12 tribes, suddenly singing together, the same tune, the same words, no one singing maybe a little bit different tune, and they're all singing Shirat Hayam, the same words. Where did they have time to practice? Who wrote that song? It was a miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done. Not many people understand the song of the sea. The Zohar HaKadosh said, Rabotai, every morning in our davening, we say the song of the sea. The Zohar HaKadosh said that there is a segula. Segula is a remedy. That when you say Shirat Hayam, Rabotai, listen to it, and you, in your mind, you're imagining the splitting of the sea, that you yourself crossing the sea, and all the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to the children of Israel, how the chariot drowned, how the Egyptian army drowned, and the Bnei Israel crossed the sea, and you can imagine that. It's a remedy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised. The Zohar HaKadosh bring it, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that when, if you imagine that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do atonement to all your sin. Who doesn't want it? The Zohar HaKadosh promises us that Kol HaMetzayer, that means a person that imagined the splitting of the sea and saying it word by word slowly while he's saying it, it's a remedy for atonement. Look at the power of Shirat Hayam. And that's what we're going to say in Shvei Shel Pesach. And we say it every morning. Shirat Hayam. That was the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done with the children of Israel. But that wasn't the end. Not for a moment think that with that finish the miracle of Shvei Shel Pesach. We say that the Egyptian drowned in the sea. HaKadosh Baruch Hu closed the water on them. That means that they was walking on the ground of the sea. HaKadosh Baruch Hu suddenly decided no more. The wall turned to liquid and they fall down and they drown. Each Egyptian been punished according to his cruelty to the Jewish people. Those that was very cruel immediately drowned. Those that was very, very cruel, they drown like a straw that's flying, like surfacing on top of the wave until they drown. But what was the miracle with that, Rabotai? HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised to Avraham Avinu and Brit Ben Abetarim. That means the covenant of the part. That when Bnei Israel going to leave Egypt, v'yitz'u berechush gadol, that when the children of Israel are going to leave Egypt, they're going to leave with a great treasure. What was the miracle that happened? The other miracle that happened, not the second, maybe the 14th miracle that happened to the Jewish people now, it was the spoil of the sea. What was in a spoil of the sea? Pharaoh, to convince his nation to chase the children of Israel, it wasn't so simple for him. Pharaoh promised the mercenaries, the officers, the soldiers to chase the Jewish people, that they're going to get fortune of money. What has he done? The Mefarshim explained, the commentary explained that he opened the bank of Egypt, the treasure that he have all over Egypt. That Pharaoh, the original Pharaoh, where did he receive that? From Yosef HaTzadik. Yosef HaTzadik get a lot of money for them. He given it to Paro. Paro took all of that treasure and he said to the soldier, after you bring that nation back to Egypt, here's the money that I'm going to carry with me to give each one of you. The money actually blind the soldier, blind those chariot mercenaries group, and they all follow Pharaoh. And that's what make the Egyptian chase the Jewish people to try to bring them back to Egypt. What's happened? When the chariot drowned, all the gold, all the silver, all the jewelry, all the money that was drowned into the ground. HaKadosh Baruch Hu make a miracle that now the bank, the water pushed out all of that treasure to the bank. That means all the spoil of the sea pushed it out, that Bnei Israel can take the money. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe Rabbeinu. Daber el Bnei Israel, speak to the children of Israel. Vayisou. And that's what it said there, Vayasa Moshe et Israel. Moshe actually have to tell the children of Israel, listen, it's enough with the spoil. Let's move on. We have to carry on. Vayasa Moshe et Bnei Israel. That Moshe have to force them because they were scaring all the spoil. Hazal say, Ani shebi Israel. What does it mean, Ani shebi Israel? The poor person from the children of Israel, you're going to feel sorry for him. you have, how Hazal said there, Tisha Hamorim. What it means, Tisha Hamorim? They have 9 donkeys just to carry the treasure, the spoil from the sea. That's a poor person that was very lazy to carry, to work hard to carry the treasure. Imagine those that was hard workers. Anisha be Israel. Those that was lazy took only 9 donkeys and filled them up full with treasure. Rabotai, this what happened to our forefathers in Mitzrayim when they left Egypt. But Hazal tell us another miracle happened. Hazal say in the Mechilta, what is a Mechilta? Mechilta is a Midrash Halacha. It's a Midrash of Halacha on Sefer Shmot. And in the Mechilta in chapter 3, Hazal says something very interesting. Hazal say like this, Ra'ata shifha alayam ma shelo ra'a Yehezkel ben Buzi. What does it mean? Hazal say, what a servant maid saw on a splitting, on a sea, on the sea of reeds, the splitting of the sea, all of those miracles, the prophet Ezekiel didn't merit to see. A prophet didn't merit to see that. The Midrash in Vaikra in Shemot Rabbah, in the book of Shmot, Midrash Rabbah on Sefer Shmot, ask, wait, I don't understand. You want to tell me that the servant maid saw all of those great miracles, that the prophet will not be merit to see it? How come? How can it be? A servant maid? Yes. Said the Midrash, I'll tell you why. And I'll explain to you exactly what's happened. When Bnei Israel been told to go to the wilderness, they didn't have question. They're going to the wilderness. And that's what Hazal say. Lechtech aharai bamidbar. You follow to the wilderness after me. Hazal say that the self-sacrificing that the Jewish people have, that means the Mesirut Nefesh, that the Jewish people have to the Almighty, to obey the law of the Almighty, that's what merited him to see all of those great miracles that even Navi Hezkel, Ezekiel the prophet, never merited to see it. Why? Simple reason. Hazal say Mesirut Nefesh. That they was willing to sacrifice themselves just to obey the word of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Rabotai, this is the story of Shvei Shel Pesach. But what can we learn from it? What is the message to us? That's what we must ask ourselves. And I think that we have to understand one important thing. That when someone like the Almighty said to the children of Israel, go to the wilderness, people will say, what they have to lose? No, they have to lose a lot. In the wilderness, there's no water, there's no shelter. It's freezing in a desert at night. There's no food. Where are they going to have a shower? Where there's medical? I don't think that Bnei Israel have doctors. I don't think that the children of Israel have midwives there. All of those have to be taken into consideration. The Jewish people didn't think twice. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to do, they done. And that's come to teach us that when you do what HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell you to do, you'll see miracle. Miracle happen to those that believe in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu do the miracle. But first, you want to see us. Are we devoted enough to HaKadosh Baruch Hu or not. But there is another important thing that we have to remember. The Jewish people have many prophets. The last prophet was the prophet Micha. And the prophet Micha says something very interesting in chapter 7, verse 15. The prophet Micha actually already sent us a prophecy what's going to happen in the last redemption. And the prophet Micha said like this, that means the prophet Micha said the Mefarshim already revealing to us what's going to happen in the last redemption. The sages tell us and the Mefarshim explain that the last redemption, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make 50 times more miracle than he done to our fathers in Egypt. That means the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to our fathers in the Exodus of Egypt, it's nothing compared to the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu going to do to us in the last redemption. Because he's going to do 50 times more miracle. Where do you learn that, said the Mefarshim? He said very simple. He said that the prophet Micha said, like the days that you left Egypt, Arenu niflaot, I will show you miracle. But what does it say? Niflaot. He didn't say plaot, he said niflaot. Hazal said the gematria of the latest noon, 50. From here you learn that the prophet already hinting to you that the last redemption, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will do 50 times more miracle than he done to our fathers when the Exodus of Egypt. And I would like to bless all of you because tomorrow night is Shvei Shel Pesach. Tomorrow night, we're going to celebrate Shvei Shel Pesach. That each one of us, Be'ezrat Hashem, will see his own miracle and will see the most important miracle that we're all waiting for, the coming of the Mashiach. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show us the redemption, send us Mashiach speedily in our days that we can see eye to eye the Bet HaMikdash, to see the building of Bet HaMikdash, to see Mashiach Tzidkenu, and to see the 50 more miracle that the prophet promised us that will be in the last redemption. That Be'ezrat Hashem, that we should all merit to see it speedily in our days. Amen. Ken yehi ratzon. Now, if there is any question, please unmute yourself and I try to answer the question regarding the Sheol Bechavod. Those of you that want to ask questions.
Hello, it's Anthony. How are you?
Anthony.
Erev Tov, Antonio. Moadim lesimcha.
Moadim lesimcha. What is the difference between the Sea of Reeds and the Red Sea? The Red Sea and the Sea of Reeds. Why is it called the Sea of Reeds and not the Red Sea?
Okay, so they call it Yam Suf ve'Hayam Ha'adom. It's the same thing. The same thing. Those of you that been in Sinai, I'm speaking now to Brian. Brian Sher was on Sinai. Ask him. I done some scuba diving there. Believe me, it's the same. There's no different. The Red Sea referring more towards Elat, okay? But the Sea of Reeds, it's more towards Sinai.
So it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's all on the same channel.
Rav Stephen.
Thanks very much.
Oh, Erev Tov, Stephen. Moadim lesimcha. Moadim lesimcha, Stephen. Bechavod. Bechavod.
Rav, when you said the sea was split, they said the sea was split because of the bones of Yosef. Yosef was the one who.
Ra'a Yam Vayanos. What you're referring to the word.
That's right.
Ra'a Yam Vayanos. So
Yes.
the Mefarshim ask. Ra'a Yam, the sea saw. What did he see? Ra'a Atzmotav Shel Yosef. He saw the bone of Yosef. He saw the bone of Yosef and he agreed to split. Why did he agree to split? because Yosef called it tzaddik that kept the brit.
Yes, correct.
But until he agreed to split, it was an argument. Ele ovdei avodah zara, af ele ovdei avodah zara. Sorry, ma ele ovdei avodah zara, af ele ovdei
They were
avodah
just the
zara.
same.
Yeah, they're the same. So punish them until Akadosh Baruch Hu given the final order. Listen, you're going to split the sea. I'm going to reward you 3 times more. Hazal say that ele emet ve'ele emet. Ele divrei emet ve'ele divrei emet. It's true, all true. When he saw that the righteousness of Yosef with the children of Israel, he understand that those, the children of Israel, and they're not idol worshippers as pagan. They've been influenced to be idol worshippers.
Yeah.
And that's what you say in Haggadah, Vayareu otanu hamitzrim. And what it means, Vayareu? The children of Israel being taught by the Egyptian to be idol worshippers. You follow?
Yeah.
Beseder. Pleasure. Any other question regarding Shvei Shel Pesach? Those of you that want to ask. Bechavod.
Rabbi Frank, how are you?
Erev Tov, Frank, Moadim Lesimcha. It's so nice to see you with us.
I want to ask you one question. If you say that all the Egyptians that came to chase into the sea were mercenaries, they were mercenaries.
Not all. No. I didn't see all. I say it's the troop of the chariot. If you read about it, the history of the chariot of the Egyptian, it was a special forces that chariot was made for mercenaries.
Right.
And they're well known as a special forces that they use in Egypt, okay, that been trained, okay, and get paid to do those kind of work, mercenary work for the Egyptians.
So what happened to all the other Egyptians then that were left in Egypt?
ואחד מהם, Hazal say, ואחד מהם. What it mean, ואף אחד מהם? That means one of them survived the splitting of the sea. Who's that? Hazal say it was Paro. Paro, from all of them to survive? Hazal say yes. Why? In Yom Kippur, in Mincha, we read the Haftarah of Yonah. What does it say there? Yonah gone to the city of Nineveh.
Right.
And Yonah said to the city of Nineveh, Be'od 40 yom Nineveh nehefechet. In 40 days, the city of Nineveh gonna be punished.
Right.
Who was the king there? Hazal say Pharaoh. Pharaoh was a king. Akadosh Baruch Hu specially left Paro alive, that he gonna be the king of Nineveh. So when you're not gonna come, the prophet, you're not gonna come to the city of Nineveh and tell them that Akadosh Baruch Hu gonna punish the city of Nineveh, Nineveh nehefechet, Paro will tell him, listen, I know who we're dealing with Almighty. Ve'ehad mehem lo notar. What it means, ve'ehad mehem? One of them only left from all of that. Who was it? Pharaoh. Very good question, Frank.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Any other question, Rabotai, regarding the 7 days of Pesach? Any other question? No. Beseder. Okay, Rabotai, I would like to take the opportunity to wish you all a beautiful Hag Sameach, Hag Kasher v'Sameach from what we left. That Be'ezrat Hashem, that we'll see eye to eyes the miracle that HaKadosh Baruch Hu done to our fathers in Egypt. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu will show us miracle and redeemed us from that long exile, from that long non-stop hatred against the Jewish people for no reason. We see our cousin, Rabota, I don't know if you take notice, the plague of killing on a Jewish people become worse. Before it was an individual. Now it's two brothers. Later on, it's a husband and a wife. Few days ago in Pesach, it's a mother with two kids. HaKadosh Baruch Hu send us sign, Rabotai. Thing is not good. We need to work on our Torah learning and our Yiddishkeit, that we can change, Rabotai, that we can change the decree. If two brothers die, and then another two brothers die, and then two sisters and the mother from the same family, it's not a good sign. Each one of us individual, Rabotai, should try, if you study every day, whatever time that you study, try to add up a bit more. Try to be more strong in the Yiddishkeit. Those of us that can learn must learn more. Those that can do more kindness, let's do more kindness to change that gezerah, that decree that there is on our nation. Hazal tell us before the Mashiach come, it's going to be, Hazal say in the Gemara, Yahmeh, that means, I don't want to live in that generation, the sages say. Why? Because the Torah is going to be so much. And we don't understand what that husband that lost his wife and two daughters feel. How is he going to sleep tonight? Those mothers that lost two kids, two sons, it's not a joke. So on the 7th day of Pesach, we should all ask, we should all daven that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu, and will say enough to all our sorrows. And we have to understand that the most important thing, that when the Mashiach comes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have his own house to dwell. And if he dwell in his own house, all the chores in the world finish. So we must daven that HaKadosh Baruch Hu redeemed us, and we should see it speedily in our day. Amen. Ken Yeh Ratzon. I would like to wish each one of you individually Hag Kasher V'Sameach, a beautiful Hag, whatever left from it, and we should all enjoy the rest of the Pesach. Hag Kasher V'Sameach to all of you. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed the show. Have a beautiful, beautiful night and a beautiful week. Good night, everyone.